Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, and today I'm going to be reviewing part of Dragon Ball Z. You may remember that back in either June or July, I don't remember which, I reviewed Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball series, and you can find that review right about here. And yeah, so that was back when I did that review because I had finished the series, obviously. And since then, I've been watching Dragon Ball Z. Now, you may notice the title of this video. It should say Saiyan, Namek, and Frieza Sagas, or Arc. I don't know which word I choose, but that's because I've only gotten through Frieza, basically. And I know that I don't want to say you could like divide up Dragon Ball Z into 3 parts, but you kind of can. Basically, there's the beginning of the show through Frieza. Everything kind of ties together with Frieza there. So with the Saiyan arc, the Namek arc, and Frieza himself. And then there's another arc, which is the Android Saga, I know that, which leads into Cell and the Cell games. And then I believe there's a Majin Buu arc, basically. So you can, I believe, now granted, I haven't seen the full series. I haven't seen the full series, so I'm not entirely sure if this is true, but I believe you can divide up Dragon Ball Z into 3 arcs. Frieza, Cell, and Majin Buu. And so basically, I decided, because it took pretty much 6 months to get through Frieza, that I was going to go ahead and do a review for you guys. So yeah, also it's New Year's Eve. Not when I'm recording this, it's actually the 29th of December, but when I put this up, it'll be the 31st. So yeah. So, let's talk Dragon Ball Z. I had never fully seen this show. I obviously know of Dragon Ball Z, and I kind of know the plot beats, but I never fully sat down and watched every episode. So, just to kind of clear that up, if you were confused. So yeah, Dragon Ball Z, first of all, I don't know how long this video is actually going to be. It could be short, it could be long, I'm not sure. My Dragon Ball video is actually 30 minutes, I believe. It's one of my longer ones. But, so I'm kind of not going to talk about the characters that much, unless something big has changed, which really nothing has with these characters. Well, with the exception that some of the characters are sidelined, I guess. Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, kind of just them. Master Roshi is sidelined when they go to Namek. There are a lot of characters that just, yeah, are sidelined. Bulma is kind of sidelined, but only because she can't really do that much on Namek. So, yeah. But she does have a good amount of screen time, but once the fight with Frieza starts, she really has nothing to do until they leave. So, yeah. So there's that. Other than that, nothing really that big with the characters. Really I can really only talk about the new characters. So, new characters, we have Gohan. He's basically just another Kid Goku, except not. It's basically Kid Goku if he was raised by Goku. It's a different personality, definitely, and he is a lot smarter than Goku was. And, you know, he's not very naive, but there's not a whole lot to the character, I would say. Maybe we'll get some more stuff later on during the Cell games. Because I know Gohan becomes very important during the Cell games. That I do know. I do remember, I used to watch the Cell games. Like, this was like years ago. This was back in middle school. Oh god, my eyes. I remember watching the Cell games. I just don't remember anything about the Cell games. Like, specifics, basically. So, I'll rewatch that later. I'll get to that when I get to that. So yeah. So, there's nothing that special about Gohan. He's just a kid, he's powerful, and he's the son of Goku. I guess I should have brought this up too. In terms of characters that have changed a bit between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Piccolo has changed because now he's a hero. Basically, basically in the first episode, an alien lands on Earth, Raditz, and he's going to find Kakarot, which we later find out is Goku, and he's actually Goku's brother. And so he's holding Gohan hostage because he's just a small child. And, oh God, my eyes, I don't know what's up with my eyes today. So yeah, and so basically they have to form an alliance of convenience between Goku and Piccolo. Piccolo, who's still like, I want to defeat you, but I can't do that if you're dead. Basically, I can't defeat you if Raditz takes over, basically. So they team up to fight Raditz. They do fight. They beat Raditz, and then this is how we lead into the whole Saiyan arc. When Raditz, before he dies, calls to his allies, Vegeta and Nappa, who take a year, basically, to arrive at Earth. So yeah. So there's that. Raditz is really nothing special. He doesn't stick around too long to really be a character. He's kind of just there as a plot device to get the plot rolling. Moving on to the other villains, really. Nappa is... He's okay. He's just kind of a bit arrogant and he's always... Well, I don't know. He's just kind of an arrogant, generic villain. There's really not a lot of depth to him. If you want a really good performance from Nappa, go to the Abridged series by Team 4-Star. It's hilarious, just outright. But the real depth comes from Vegeta, who becomes a main character, basically. So he starts off just being the villain, and then after he's defeated by Goku and the gang, and by the gang, I mean Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin. Because Krillin, actually, I'm going to give props to Krillin. Krillin really steps up in this series. I'm amazed, actually. Not that Krillin was ever a bad character or a bad fighter or anything, but you hear some things about these shows. So, of course, I mostly hear stuff about Yamcha, which if you started with this show, I can understand why people hate Yamcha, but it is unfortunate what they do to some of these characters like Tien and Yamcha. They are just straight off, like, sidelined. They are killed and they are sent away to King Kai's place, and they just kind of stay there for most of the Namek Frieza arcs. And they're horribly sidelined, and I mostly feel bad for Tien, because Tien was like a major threat. He was, a major player. When Piccolo showed up, King Piccolo, and Goku was defeated, it kind of fell on Tien to fight Piccolo, because he was basically the next strongest character. Sorry if my voice is getting a little raspy. I haven't done this in a little while. Haven't really filmed a video in a while. It's actually kind of interesting. Anyway, so yeah, I kind of feel bad that Tien is kind of sidelined in here. Yamcha, I feel like Yamcha got sidelined in Dragon Ball to begin with. Like, he had his fight with Tien, but that was kind of it. He never really recovered from that, and he got beat. Honestly, the next time he was really allowed to fight, he faced Kami in battle in disguise, and it's like, yeah, poor guy pretty much got sidelined already, so I don't feel as bad, but I think whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to make comments on fandoms that I'm not really a part of. Even though I like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, I'm not really part of the fandom, I wouldn't say. Yeah, so yeah, Krillin really steps up for this. It's pretty cool that Krillin, it was impressive that he stood up to Nappa. Krillin actually gets a few shots on Frieza in that fight, and he gets some shots on the Ginyu Force, too. The Ginyu Force, I just remembered them. I don't really care for the Ginyu Force. I think they're a little over the top, but I mean, they were defeated quickly, and it was basically just another stepping stone to before we got to Frieza. So yeah, Vegeta basically turns on Frieza after his defeat by Goku. And so and again, it's another kind of alliance of convenience, because Vegeta is not powerful enough to beat Frieza. Goku is initially not as powerful. None of them are powerful enough to face Frieza alone. So it is an alliance of convenience. In order to save themselves, they need each other to stop Frieza, basically. So yeah. And the fan on my computer turned on a little bit. Weird. Anyway. Frieza as a character, he's fun. He's a fun villain. I do really like him. See, now I gotta try to separate the show from the abridged series, because in the abridged series he's hilarious. But in this, I'm trying to really remember, he's basically just, he's really threatening. And when you see the kind of stuff that he can do, he becomes really, really threatening. And I'm just gonna say it, with the amount of things that happen, like, while they're fighting and stuff, like, the amount of crazy fights, I'm gonna put it out here. For everyone who is disappointed by the Goku versus Superman death battle, that Superman won twice, I get it now. I get it. I would be mad too. Yeah, if I grew up with this, I'd really be mad. Now I'm starting to understand why people are mad about that, because Goku is ridiculously powerful. And yes, because they say, Superman is invincible, but I don't know how much training Superman really has. And what's interesting is something interesting, and I'll tie this back into Dragon Ball Z so I don't go off on a full tangent, but the death battle should have never taken place, because these two characters would not do that. Superman would not do that to the death. Goku would not do that to the death. In fact, an interesting thing is, when he is about to kill Frieza, basically, he could kill Frieza right towards the end, and he doesn't. He spares him. He's like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to kill you. Just, he actually gives him part of his energy, his Super Saiyan energy. Because that's another thing that happens, is the Super Saiyan reveal, I guess. So, yeah, he even gives him part of his energy so that he can escape Namek's destruction. And and obviously Frieza turns on him, tries to kill him, and so Goku finally, reluctantly, kind of, at least for right now, puts down Frieza. Kills him, as far as we know. And I might get to that in my next DBZ review. But yeah, so with all of that, I don't think the death battle was written very well. I don't think they really thought it out, but that's another story altogether. We're not here to talk about the death battle, we're here to talk about Dragon Ball Z. One problem I have with Dragon Ball Z, I will tell you right now, is I'm kind of tired of Goku not being the main character anymore, and let me explain this. Because in the first show, he's the main character outright. There's never that, you never go for a long stretch of time without Goku. Even in the Red Ribbon Army arc, he's kind of the only main character. Like, he's not, like, the main cast, Bulma, Krillin, Master Roshi, the whole gang, they're not really there, and Yamcha. They're not really there during the Red Ribbon Army arc. Like, they show up for a little bit and go away, and they tried to help Goku at the end, but they're too late, and Goku's already beaten them, but yeah, you're with Goku through the entire thing. In this one, it is so much waiting for Goku to show up. Like, with the Saiyans. So, Vegeta and Nappa show up on Earth, and the gang they have to stay there, and they have to hold the ground, because Goku's not there yet. You gotta wait a long time before Goku gets there. And then there is Namek. Namek, which is such a long arc. Like, this is 2 seasons, basically. This is basically 2 seasons on Namek. And through basically season 2, which is the first season of Namek, there's no Goku, like, in the slightest. Like, well, okay, he comes in at the end against the Ginyu Force, but he doesn't come in until the Ginyu Force. You're stuck with Gohan and Krillin, and that's it. No one else. Bulma is there, but Bulma kind of gets sidelined, like I said, because she can't really fight. She can't really do anything. So yeah, so there's that. And then Goku finally shows up to face the Ginyu Force, and he beats them. Finally. Which is good, because I didn't like the Ginyu Force. They're ridiculous. So he beats the Ginyu Force, but he's so badly wounded that they have to put him in a healing chamber. Okay, whatever. But then Frieza shows up, and now they have to fight Frieza and wait for Goku. And it's just like, oh my gosh, why is this show about waiting for Goku? Why can't Goku just be at the forefront? And I don't know if that really changes. From what I've heard, I don't think that does change in DBZ, at least. I hope it changes down the line. I heard GT kind of goes back to the original formula, because I think Goku becomes a kid again or something, and then he goes on another adventure. I'm all for that. I kind of prefer the adventure, which I guess is another thing I'll talk about, is that the adventure is kind of lost on Dragon Ball Z. Like, yes, because yes, there is an adventure to Namek, an adventure on Namek, but it's really not. Namek looks the same. There's only a couple villains, really. It's like, you got Zarbon and Dodoria and the Ginyu Force. They're there for a little bit, but they're kind of all killed by Vegeta or Goku when he finally shows up. And then there's Frieza. And it's an entire season of fighting Frieza. It's ridiculous how long it takes to fight Frieza. And don't get me wrong, it's a great fight and all, and I loved it, and I loved watching it, but they could have cut some episodes out. It's like, that was way too long for a fight. So yeah, I do kind of miss the adventure, and I miss the tournament. I miss the World Martial Arts Tournament from the first show, but that's not to say that this isn't a good show. Far from it. I do like the show. It's a good show, and I'm glad I watched it. I just think that Dragon Ball was a little bit better, but I understand what they're doing here. I understand that this is kind of the next step. Like, we had, the fun adventure, Kid Goku and stuff like that. Now this is adult Goku, and we have these serious threats like Frieza. So I understand that it's not really the adventure anymore, it's the good versus evil fight now. Which is fine, I just kind of miss the adventure, so that's kind of that. So yeah, I hear GT goes back to the adventure, so it'll be interesting to see how that is. And I know, I hear that GT is, like, really bad. I know a lot of people hate GT, but don't get into, like, a flame war or anything. Don't like, bash GT in the comments. We're just talking about Dragon Ball Z here. So, I wonder what Super is like, because the fourth show. I wonder what Dragon Ball Super is like. I wonder if that goes back to the DBZ formula or not. Anyway, you can really hear my voice is starting to go. Should have gotten some water. But I think I'm going to wrap things up here. Yeah, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, hello. Dragon Ball Z was really good. It's not as good as the original series, but it was really good. Some characters got sidelined, but we brought in some new characters that are really fun. Piccolo kind of becomes a new character because he becomes good. Vegeta comes in, he's really fun. And Frieza was a good villain, so yeah. All in all, it was really good. So yeah. That is basically it, and I'm gonna go get started on the Android Saga, I guess. And hopefully it won't take me 6 months to get through the Android Saga and the Cell games. So, yeah. I'm tired. So, yeah. End cards are going to pop up right about now. You can click on those. You can follow 7th Hour Films on Twitter at 7th Hour Films. And that's basically it. I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.